Hey crafters and friends, welcome to my channel. My name's Kathy Case and this is my channel Create with KC. And I am a paper crafter and I use various products, and I have got a new project kit to show for you today. It is by Altenew and it is the Craft Your Life project kit. And I believe this is for June. So let me just show you the kit that I just got in the mail, and I started playing with it last night, and it is amazing. You are going to love it. So what this kit is you get a discount. I've got stamp set, stencils, coloring stencils. I've got dies and embossing folder. All these are included in this kit, and I think the retail value is $66, and I think I got it for $45. So you get a big discount, and I have been a subscriber of theirs for the past 3 months now, and I have not been disappointed yet in any of their craft kits. So let me turn the camera down to where I can show you the kit and show you the value, show you the projects that I started last night. I've got 2 finished and 1 started, and I think we're going to actually make one of the ones that I did last night again, so I can show you how I did that. It involves not dry embossing, but heat embossing using the stamp set, and we'll go from there. So while I'm flipping everything around, hit that like button and subscribe and notify and all the good things. That really helps me grow my channel, and I would appreciate it so much. All right, so hold on 1 second. Let me switch everything around. Okay, and there's a glare, and I'm sorry about the glare. There's not really much I can do about it because of this glass board that I work on. But this is the Project Life kit, and it does come in this envelope, this plastic envelope, so you do get that. And like I said, it's from Altenew, and this is Craft Your Life project kit, and I believe this is June. So these products are not out yet unless you subscribe. If you subscribe, then you get them before everybody else. That's the perk. One of the perks for joining their subscription programs is you get these exclusive products before they are released. So that's the envelope, and we've got an embossing folder, and this is called Bold and Beautiful Botanical 3D Embossing Folder, and that's what it does to your paper when you run it through your embossing machine. And then we've got the coloring stencils, and it is also called Bold and Beautiful, and it helps you color the flowers. Once you stamp the image, you can color the flowers, or you can color the flowers and not have to stamp it. Makes it a little bit easier when you stamp it though, and I'll show you one of the cards that I did using this coloring stencil. Then I've got the stamp set and Craft Your Life project kit. Oh, I said this was June. I was wrong. Craft Your Life project kit, Bold and Beautiful. It says May 2025 by Altenew. And you get this large stamp. Mine is not on the sheet because I have it in my MISTI. And I have Sending Hugs on an acrylic block because that's the one I was using last night. And I'm lazy. I'm a lazy crafter. Sorry. And I didn't wipe it, and put it back on the sheet. But I knew I was going to be playing with this some more, so I just left it. I did clean it, but I just left it in my MISTI. But look at all these nice, gorgeous flowers. Love it, love it, love it. So we've got the stamp set, and with the stamp set, you get a idea project folder. So it gives you 2 full-size card fronts, which you actually can trim these out and put these on a card and send it. Now, if that's an easy way to make a card really quick, you've got 2 choices. You've got "You Are Awesome," which this sentiment die set is not, it's not included. This is another release, but the "Sending Sunshine" is. It is included in the stamp set and the die set. Look at that. I love these colors and the sentiment. Speaking of colors, when you open this folder, for instance, this card here, it actually gives you the choices that they used for making this card. And they used ruby red and dark chocolate. And they used embossing ink, so we know that they used the stamp set to emboss this image and did a emboss resist technique. And I did that last night. I'll show you that card. And then this one, they cut out all the flowers using the die, and I'll show you the die set in just a second. And then they just stamped the greeting. And again, it gives you some color choices. This here they used pink diamond, coral berry, rubellite, parrot, olive, and the ink is obsidian black. So the other part of this folder, ideal folder, is they show you in what sequence and what the stamp set colors with stencil 1, stencil 2, stencil 3, and stencil 4. It shows you that it colors certain flowers, certain leaves, the centers of the flowers, and then more flowers and more leaves. And then it gives you suggestions. It says products for perfect pairing. So that "You Are Awesome" came probably, yep, from one of these stamp sets. And it's called Versatile Greetings Die Set. So it tells you where they got this from. And then the cardstock choices and extra ink choices. And then it says step-by-step layering guide included, coordinating die set, stencil set, embossing folder is available. And then it gives you instructions and care and storage. So that's the project folder sheet. And then I showed you the stamp set. And you've got Miss You, Sending Hugs, Grow with Grace, and Sending Sunshine. And then the 2 inside sentiments you got: May your day be as vibrant as these blooms, wishing you growth, beauty, and joy, wishing you strength in every step. So that's the stamp set. And this is the die set. So it cuts out all the leaves, the bigger flowers, the medium flowers, and the small flowers, some single leaves, and then the 3 or 4 larger sentiments like Miss You, Sending Hugs, and etc. You can cut those out. And speaking of which, of the sentiments that cut out, I use that die to cut Sending Hugs out. And let me cut my card camera on so you can see this card up close. So this is the card Sending Hugs, and this is uh, heat embossed. And then I just used some black gems from my stash. Matted it in black and put it on a white card base. And I haven't done the inside yet. So I did that one, and that one was just with the heat emboss and just stamped. And then I blended with some blending brushes. Now this is using the stencil set, and I just followed the diagram, and I used some Altenew colors, which the purples are Altenew's Andromeda, Ultraviolet, Hydrangea, and Wisteria. It's the purples. And then the blues, I used Sapphire, Caribbean Sky, Arctic, and Parisian Blue, or I guess, yeah, Parisian Blue. I don't know how you would say it differently, but the pinks I used Cosmic Berry, Purple Wine, Puffy Heart, and Rose Quartz. And then with the greens, the leaves, I used Oak Moss, Swamp Green, Matcha Tea, and Aloe Vera. So that was the colors that I used for that card. Now, I have this 5x7 card, and I used this this kit from last month. This is an example of last month's, and it had a very large stamp, and I made a 5x7 out of it, and this one turned out really good. It also had a coloring stencil. And then this beauty, look at that. This is on watercolor cardstock, and it is a 5x7 piece of cardstock, which I will probably cut it down and make a smaller card. Maybe I can get 2 cards out of that. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I used the stamp set, and I heat embossed it in gold, and then I used Tim Holtz Distress inks and used them as watercolors, and I just really loved how that turned out. Okay, so let me switch the camera back around, and you can see this up close. You can see the colors a little bit better. That gold emboss resist technique, beautiful, and the colors that I chose. All right, so what we need is we're going to do just a regular A2 size card front. Okay, so let's find our Misty. And I still have this set up from last night. So what we need to do is figure out where our cardstock needs to be. I have got a sticky mat from Waffle Flower, and I just leave it in here. So I don't really have to use the magnets if I don't want to. This sticky mat, I think she calls it something else. Not really, I don't remember what she calls it. I call it a sticky mat because it's sticky and it holds your cardstock. So we're just going to make sure that our cardstock is in the correct position. It looks like it is. So I think what we're going to do is do the same style like this. Do some white heat embossing and do a different color shading. So we need our embossing buddy, which basically what it is just the cornstarch pouch that kind of gets all the oil from our fingertips and static and all that from our cardstock. We need our Versamark embossing pad. And we need our white embossing powder. And I'm sure Altenew has embossing powder, but I've got a lot of embossing powder, and this one is just this white from Stampin' Up, and it's pretty old, but it still works. So I'm just going to use it up, and then when I get done, I'll order some Altenews. So this Versamark is just an ink pad that is sticky and clear. And what it does, it is allows your embossing powder to stick to it, and we'll heat it up and get our image. So I'll put it in my MISTI, and then I've just got a hockey puck, an air hockey puck, or it's not a puck, it's I guess an air hockey paddle, and I just use it to help me stamp a little bit. And then I just kind of look at it and see if I need another impression, which I do. And I think last night I determined that my watermark stamp pad, this Versamark, needed to be re-inked, so I'm probably going to have to do this a couple of times. It's getting close. I think one more time and we'll have it. But I have been crafting for a while. I'm a dental hygienist during the day, and actually I had got the afternoon off because I don't know where you live, but where I live, there's a lot of people that are sick, and I really didn't have enough patience to stay the afternoon, so they asked me if I wanted to go home, and I'm always about going home, and like I said, I'm always for going home and crafting. Hey, when you get old and older, I'm not going to say I'm old, when you get older and near retirement age, which believe it or not, I am, you get to where you want to take time off to do some crafting. So I said, sure, I'll go home. All right, so I'm going to put my lid back on my Versamark, and we're done with our MISTI for right now. And what I like to do is, instead, if I don't have time to clean it right away, or if I'm going to use it again, I just put a piece of scratch paper there and close my MISTI. That way my sticky mat doesn't get messed up. Okay, so now I get out my folded piece of printer paper, and we're going to dump this whole bottle of this white embossing powder over our Versamark stamped image. Just like that. And we are going to take our hot hands and make sure we got it all coated really well. It was funny because my husband just came home just a second ago, and I paused the video because I knew he was going to come in and say something to me, because he never really knows whether I'm videoing or not. And his first thing he come out of his mouth is, because I'm never home when he comes home. He works for himself, so he picks his own hours. He comes in the house and he's like, "Oh, so they fired you, huh?" No, I wish they hadda. No, I'm just kidding. I love my job. It's very rewarding. I love to clean people's teeth and make them nice and shiny and white. But like I said, there's a lot of people sick right now in my part of the woods, and we didn't have enough people to come in today. I live in a real country, rural area too, so not a lot of people need a good excuse to not go to the dentist. But anyway, all right, so we're going to take our heat tool and we're just going to melt this plastic, this embossing powder. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I'll try to show you. It's really dull. And then once it gets to the heat, there it goes. You can see it right there. It gets shiny. So it is dull at first until it gets hot, and then it turns shiny. So we're just going to get this till it's all nice and melted. Okay, then I'm going to switch it around. Get my little hot hands. There, you can also use a paper clip or a clothespin to hold your stamped image with, to keep from burning your hands. Okay, then I just do a few seconds from the back. Looks good. And then we're going to let this cool off. So now, I think this is the hardest part about picking your project. I don't really have trouble figuring out what I'm going to do. It's the colors that I'm going to use. There's so many beautiful inks out there. There's so many colors. And that's what you have to decide. This one I used was Altenew's reds. It was crimson. And with this set of 4, we've got crimson, velvet, rouge, and blush. That's their names for their reds. And I have their blues, their purples, their pinks, and their greens. So I know we're probably not going to use the greens. And I'm kind of leaning towards maybe an ombre with the pinks. So you want to let this cool off really good. And I'm going to get out my other sticky mat. Okay, so I've got my other sticky mat. And we're going to make sure that this gets attached to it so it won't move, because we are going to do some blending. So I'm going to get my ink stand. And the first color we're going to use is the rose quartz. So I'm going to get my blending brush that is also from Waffle Flower, but Altenew does carry blending brushes. I don't have their big ones unless these are, no, these are Pink Fresh Studio. I've got some smaller brushes of theirs. So I'm going to clean my brush first, ink up my brush, and we're going to do an ombre effect. We're going to put the lighter color in the middle. Look at that. Love that. Amazing. Okay, then we're going to switch to Puffy Heart. And I always tap it over here because if you go direct to the paper, you're going to get a dark mark. And we don't want a dark mark. Okay, so very lightly go around your lighter color that you did. And you're just going to blend those two colors. Okay. Now we're going to switch colors again. And that color is Purple Wine. Again, ink up our brush. Tap it. See, it's getting a little bit darker each time. And go lightly around the color that we just added. Just like that. And we're going to add one more color. Do you have to add all these colors? No. You do what you think looks good. You do what you think is beautiful. Then that last color is called Cosmic Berry. And I think I'm just going to do the four corners. See, it's a little bit more darker. Okay, so start over on the edge of the corner. And I'm just going to do the four corners. And it kind of gives it like a spotlight effect. Okay, so we're through with our ink blending. Okay, and our ink stand, we're done with it. So what we're going to do is peel this up from our sticky mat. And we're going to clean. We're going to move this out of the way so it doesn't get water on it. We're going to clean our mat. And I just use water and a paper towel. Now it's going to stain. The reds and the pinks are notorious for staining your mat, and it's okay. It just means that you love your crafting tools. And cleaning it with water like this, it makes the mat sticky again. So if your mat gets unsticky, then just clean it with water and it will become sticky again. And what I do is I keep this in a little zippered pouch because, you know, you're constantly using embossing powders and glitter and things like that. And if this is out, it'll attract all those materials and make your sticky mat not sticky again. So I'll put that in my zippered pouch in just a second. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to wipe off the ink from the embossing paste because it does stick to it, but it wipes off and makes the white embossing paste a lot brighter. Very good. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I will hold this up to where you can see it a little bit. Now I think we're going to trim this down because of this edge here. It doesn't go all the way out like this one. So this panel is 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to take our paper trimmer, and this is a paper trimmer from We Are Memories Keepers, and I love it because you can make envelopes. It is your score board. It makes banners. It makes envelopes. It cuts our paper for us. It makes tassels. Lots of things. It does lots of things. But it does cut really good. So we're going to cut this down to 5 by 3 3/4. So we're going to need to figure out what mats we want. I do know we're going to use a side folding card base. So I have those pre-done already. So that's going to fit like that. So we need a mat of some sort. And I'm thinking that some pink would work really good for this one. And see if I've got any scrap pinks out yet. We could use this kind of, it's an in-between pink and purple. I'm not really sure what company this is from. It's probably a Stampin' Up color, which would be like a razzleberry, I think is what they call it. I'm just trying to use up what I have. So we'll use that one. This panel needs to be 1/4 inch less than our card base. So it needs to be 5 1/4, and it looks like it already is. So this one needs to be 4. So we just have to trim that one side. Okay, then we're going to check it. Make sure it fits properly and looks the way we want it to look. Looks good, like the colors. And then it fits really well on our white card base. So we're done with that. And we're ready to glue. So I have the My Sweet Petunia glue press. Love it. It helps, since I work with my hands all day long, it does help me squeeze the trigger a little bit better than squeezing the bottle. It helps, it saves my hand. So if you have some arthritis issues, or you work with your hands and your hands get tired a lot, this is a great thing to have. So I didn't put the lid back on it last night. It comes with a base. And here's the base, and you just set it in the base. So that's all I did last night. I didn't put the lid back on it. So I just take a straight pin and unclog it. Just poke it a couple of times. Okay. And just do a line of glue around. It does have a finer tip than the one that I'm using. I just had I think my bottle's getting empty. It needs to be filled back up is why it's not coming out too good. I just don't change them around that often. So I don't use the fond tip yet. All right, so we're going to center this on our card panel. And I always like to turn it over, rub its back to get it adhered really good. Because if you rub it here and not turn it over, you run the risk of moving your panel. But look at that. Isn't that neat? It almost has a spotlight effect when you do it that way. Okay. And then we're going to glue our focal point to our card base. And the other type of adhesive I like to use is this one called, it's by scrapbook.com. It's disposable. You don't refill it, which I'm hoping that they'll come out with something, a refill, so we don't have to chuck these in the recyclable bin. But it's okay. It's recyclable, so. And it's just double-sided adhesive. And you want to go real slow with it so you get a good line of tape runner. And then we're just going to center this the best way we can. And I don't press it until I like it. And I like it, so I'm going to press it down. And then I am going to stamp my little logo on the back. Now we get to pick our sentiments. So I need a piece of white for the inside. If I can find it. Here's a piece of white for the inside, and it looks like it's cut to where what we need it. So we are going to choose. We're going to choose Miss You, Sending Hugs, which I did that one last night, so I want to probably choose a different one. Grow with Grace, I really like that one. And Sending You Sunshine. And I don't think I'm going to do Sunshine because I want my card base, when I do that one, to be yellow like the sun. So it is either Miss You or Grow with Grace. Maybe Grow with Grace, and then on the inside we can put Wishing You Growth, Beauty, and Joy. I think that sounds good. So let's do the inside first, which is Wishing You Growth, Beauty, and Joy. We'll take this one off the block, so we're going to use that block. Now the stamps used, it's not been, I mean, it's new, it's not been used. So I am going to rub that coating off so it'll stamp better. And these smaller stamps that are not wide and they're pretty dainty. So I am going to rub them, but I'm going to be really careful. And I'm going to get another block. And what I'm going to do is just lay this down and just let it fall wherever it falls. Because if you place it, see how you can get it crooked? So just kind of like drop it and let it do its own thing. And then once it's sitting there, then you can press it down and check it and make sure it's all nice and straight. The other thing you can do is take your panel and take a piece of clear acetate, and the stamp ink that we're going to use is this VersaFine Clair Tuxedo Black Nocturne. It's a pigment ink, and this one is by Simon Says Stamp, but I think they can package it for different companies. But I love this one. I just recently started using this one. I was using VersaFine. This one, it's a crisp black too, but I really like this one a lot. So what you can do is ink up your stamp. Don't stamp your paper, but stamp your acetate sheet about where you want your greeting to be, and see if it looks straight. That looks pretty good to me. So you'll just wipe this off and just reuse that. Okay? So now with these smaller stamps like this, you want to do the technique I call Kiss the Bunny. You don't want to just stamp it and just press as hard as you can. This is a really light, delicate stamp. So position it the best you can, straight and in the middle or wherever you want it. And you're just going to lightly press, just like you were kissing a bunny, just really easy. And I hold it there for just a minute to let the ink and the paper accept each other. And there you go. Beautiful. Beautiful every time. Okay, so we're ready to glue this to the inside of our card. And you want to be really careful because this is a pigment ink. You could go ahead and dry it with your heat tool, or you can be really careful with it. And that's what I have elected to do, is I am going to be really careful with it and just leave it open till it has time to dry. Don't lay it on top of your unclean ink because this will smear. It will get everywhere. You just want to set it aside, out of the way. Now we're going to work on our main sentiment. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp it one time, but we're going to cut it out 3 times to give it a little bit of thickness. Okay, so I am pressing a little bit harder on this one because it's a little bit bigger, letting the ink and the paper accept each other. Now, if I used my Misty, I could go back and stamp this again, but since we were using this VersaFine Clair, it really does good. I'm telling you, it really does good. I love it. Okay, we're done with that. So we're going to use our dies that came in with our kit. We're going to cut this out. Is it this one? Yep. So I have the Empress by Anna Griffin, and I do have a crank manual cutter, but I do love my electric cutter. So I'm going to place it on my magnetic sheet and make sure that everything looks good from left to right, top to bottom. And then I'm going to put my A plate on top, and I'll switch you over. I do have a cutting cam. Cut it on. Hit run. Rotate it. Love my cutting cam. Love how this setup is. It's on a Lazy Susan. And it cut out beautifully. Look at that. Awesome. So now what I'm going to do is cut this out 2 more times. One more time. Okay. And we're going to glue all 3 of these together. And what that's going to do is, instead of using foam squares, which you could use foam squares, but I tell you, I don't like peeling off those backings, especially if you have to use a lot. So we're just going to glue them together. We're stacking them. And it kind of makes it like a 3D puffy element. It's not a sticker yet, so we can't call it a 3D sticker, but it is got some substance to it. Substance. So there's that one. Very nice. So this should be dry now so we can close it. And then we can adhere our Grow with Grace. And they open it up and it says, wishing you growth, beauty, and joy. Love it. Okay. And now we're just going to glue this to our card front. And again, I don't press it till I'm happy with the placement, which I like that. And then we're going to look for some bling. And I just have some that's already out. I do like these opaque, pearlescent, flat sequins, so I think we'll try to use that. I've got a Gina K's pickup tool. And I think the last card, I put the little sequins in the flower centers. And you want to use an odd number, 3 or 5. And I think this card, I'm just going to use 3. And there's our card. Nice, simple, quick. So let me get my card cam. There it is, up close. Here's the inside. And then the back with our logo. Grow with Grace. So there's my card. Isn't it beautiful? Don't you just love the Craft Your Life project kits? I do. I love them. Anyway, they also have inspiration. They have a link for you to get more inspiration from your craft kit. So, again, please like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it so much. And if you leave me a comment, I will love you forever. So, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you on the next video. Bye now.